We talk
real
we speak,
radio.
We say what's real.
On Talk Real Radio.
On Real Talk.
Real
Radio.
talk.
On Talk,
Talk
Real Radio.
Talk real. Now, what talk real means is real talk. In other words, not because somebody told you to, not because you heard it from somebody else, because you actually went and dug up some facts. You looked up things on that handheld computer that you hold in your hand that you call a telephone. We're going to point out the easier way to find things for some of you handicapped, how can I say, functioning in society people somehow just thought they couldn't find, even though they have a handheld computer in their hand. But yeah, we're going to help you out with that. That's what Real Talk's going to be all about. We're going to point out things that are going on in everyday life that really shouldn't be happening. And we should correct it, but we don't. We should do something different, but we won't. But we're going to change that here, hopefully. At least a few minds. Even if I change one, I'll be a happy son of a bitch. But Real Talk will happen on Talk Real Radio. Well, I'll tell you right now, first off, we got to say hello to everybody out there in the Midwest.
Save that for later, my brother.
No, I'm joking. All right, let me tell you what this is. This is Real Talk on Talk Real Radio. What that means to you is we're not going to candy coat it. We swear, by the way. We use all of God's words. We're direct. We're going to bring up things that you would think most people would common sense see as stupid, and for some reason people just don't. We're going to point these things out. We've lived through fucking silly things, and we're going to let you know where we come from on this first episode, just to let you know who we are, where we're from, why we're doing it, and what the deal is. Second episode gets raw. Then we let you know impactedly how much you are fucking a little crazy out there today in America. But this is Real Talk on Talk Real Radio. All right. Real talk today, my friends. But first, we're going to give some introductions on Talk Real Radio and what Talk Real Radio is being introduced for, or why it's being introduced, I should say. So, I am Bitter Bill. Am I bitter? You know, yes, I am. And I'm going to tell you why. I have never, ever, ever, and I've lived in some crazy societies in my time on Earth. We're not going to say how many years. No reason to know how old I am. But I'm going to tell you, common sense and the optics. Your eyes should be able to see what's in front of you, unless you're blind, of course. But if you're not, and if your ears work and you could hear the things around you, some of the things that we're confusing in life right now are the most simplest things in the world to make our brain say, hey, wait a minute. Why are we doing this? That's why this show is coming out. For all the kids that get brutally beaten and put into bad situations because people don't want to do what's right due to hate or ignorance, or just because they want to win, is why this is coming out. This show is made for that purpose. People who forgot how to conversate instead of just go off the deep end and let's kill and maim and rah. Yeah, that's what this show is coming out for. I will hit these different topics on a regular. I will look on Facebook, CNN, OAN, all different types of places. I will get my juice, my fuel, whatever you want to call it. And I will hit back people and say, we have come around to a world, for some reason now, we are feelings before facts. And that's ridiculous. That is not how it's supposed to operate. And when common sense escapes the everyday person and nobody cares, We're going to clear these things up down the road. Anyways, so I'm Bitter Bill. I've got my man here, Alexander Poe, El Poe. And he'll be doing the recording, editing, slapping around, kicks in the ass, and shit like that. You know how that works. Production. And we make sure each other's bowls are full. And, we do our little things to keep the hot seats steady. And keep our minds from not going too far overboard like most of you people who just can't see that you're going overboard. I grew up on the south side of Chicago. I lived in Bridgeport. I lived over in the Brighton Park area. Actually, I lived all over I lived a lot of places. See, I had one of those mommies that was a little wild back in the day. She didn't like to pay rent, so... Yeah, I probably moved... I moved a lot. I think at one point we had my mother up to about 63 or 64 apartments in my 17 years of living with her. If that ain't funny enough for you. And you say, how does that happen? Let me tell you. What my mother liked to do was pay rent, get in, smooth them over with a good story. Right around winter, yeah, that's when the rent wasn't going to get paid because, see, they can't move you out. They can't shut your bills off. They can't do nothing. And, we'd stay there all winter long. Spring would hit, and, well, you got to pay the rent, or move on to the next place. So we did that a lot. And I mean a lot. And, of course, you're in Chicago. You have your gangs. I bounced between insane and almighty popes back in the day. Knew them all. I even knew a couple of the popes from the north side that were, believe it or not, it switches. If you're on the south side of Chicago, that gang becomes what's called people. When you go to like Humboldt Park and you see the popes, it's folks. And you say, well, why is this important to me? Well, you know what? You drive all over the earth. You drive from area to area to area with handheld computers, but you don't know where you really are. And then when something goes wrong, you want to blame society for being so, out of control. But how out of control are you to be driving around in an area you know nothing about? And you don't want to learn anything about it. It should just be wiped off the face of the earth. The earth should be cleansed. That's ridiculous. That's not how it works. But we're going to focus on things like that. Things that have been missed. I'm going to talk about religions. I'm going to talk about things that even happened in my life. I'm sure it'll come up because you got to cross-reference things. Did I get here? I got beat up for Rodney King. A man in California, miles and miles and hundreds of miles from me. I never met him, never knew him. But I got beat up for him. Hell, I even made hate crimes and Channel 9's very own news for it. Stayed in the hospital a day or two and then stayed at home for I don't know how many days and had to stay up for so many hours. But yeah, we're not going to get beat up for people that, we don't know, which is pretty fucking stupid, just saying. But, listen, things like this happen every day. And the problem is, even back then when it happened, nobody went after the people that they wanted to go after. They go after the easy targets. See, we're going to put a stop to that. Or at least try to. We're going to try to wake up a few people and say, hey, wait a minute. Even when we're acting tough, we're not acting tough. I've seen KKK rallies at Marquette Park. I've seen a lot of interesting things. And that's what we're going to talk about too. We'll make it real. But we're not going to talk about other people's opinions as far as they're right, they're wrong. I mean, unless they're drastically wrong. Now, listen, if you got somebody that's just, wing nut crazy, fell off the cuckoo tree or something, we're going to make jokes about that. That's just inevitable. Joe Biden, for example. Is he a bad man? No, he was a great, great man. He did a lot of good things. Can he do them now? No. And I'll tell you why. Not because he is a bad person, not because he's not as good as Trump. He can't do it for the simple reasons of he does not know what he's doing, saying, what he's running for. We saw a show not too long ago, the man's running for Senate, he told people. He doesn't even know he's trying to run for president. Now, I'm not picking on Joe, but Joe's got some issues. Okay, no offense, when you're at a listen, this man, I bet you if he visited 100 states, I'll bet you almost anything he only got 25 of them right if he talked about them in conversation. He's in California, he's talking about Utah, he's in Utah, he's talking about Ohio. He doesn't know where he's at. I mean, this is crazy stuff. So, we're going to talk about things like that. Things that are real. Things that are going on every day around us. I am going to place a personal attack on Joy Bear. Now, I don't place an attack on her because of her beliefs. I place an attack on her because of what she teaches other people because of her beliefs. I'm tired of the hate. Whoopi too. That whole show, The View, I'm out for you. I dare you to invite me to your show. Oh, please, I beg of you. But you're not going to like the show. And you're probably going to walk off in a tantrum like you two usually do, you and Whoopi. But the hate you people put out into the world is ridiculous. You get children beat. You get old men beat up. You get American citizens, you put them in harm every time you speak almost. You talk like you're mafia. I ain't kissing his ring. Are you all goofy? And how do we keep these people on air? That's the part I want to know. We yell about these people, but we don't do anything. And then we bitch because they're on air. Well, they're on air because we watch them and we keep them on air. If we didn't want them on air, citizens could have that show taken off in seconds if they really wanted to make a stink. Let's not forget, Roseanne Barr cracked a joke and the bitch lost her show. So this isn't a secret. It's not like it can't happen. Now, to give you a little story on my man here who's editing and doing things is Alexander Poe. Rock Island. And literally, Rock Island. He's been to Illinois, but where Alexander Poe is from. Rock Island is in Illinois, not Illinois is in Rock Island. Rock Island is not in Illinois. Kind of like the Chicago thing, which is true. He's got a strong base in a different form. We've all done our things. But he's that Rock Island, Rock Town prick. And I'm a Chicago bastard. And that's what we do. We claim where we're from. We're not there now. I'm not going to tell you where I'm recording from, but we're in a country type setting. Why? Why not? Listen, and I'm going to tell you another thing about that too. This whole country, city, that shit's not real anymore. I know you think if you were born in the city, country people, not going to get along. No. In fact, they embrace us just like we embrace them. We learn how to drive a fucking pickup truck and make it do things that pickup trucks really shouldn't fucking do. And we teach them how to roll blunts and throw a punch like you actually should without getting yourself beat the fuck out of. We learn from each other. And that's what we used to all do. We don't do that no more. Now we all have our little, not to be funny, but we have our cliques. It's like high school again, except we're 50. You got the people who work this job so they can hang out with each other. And, if you work this kind of job, well, you really shouldn't associate with these kind of people. You know what? If you pay your fucking bills and you get the job done every day, you should be able to associate with anybody you want to associate with. Doesn't matter. And this whole loss of opinions thing, that's fucking going bye-bye too. I had enough of that. If somebody has an opinion, they can't talk to another person about their opinion because they have to, tippy toe on how they give their opinion because they don't want to lose their friend. Listen, this is nuts. Okay, if you cannot have an intelligent conversation with somebody because they have a different opinion than yours, what you should do is, and I mean this wholeheartedly, the minute you're aggravated, I want you to walk over to a mirror. Look at that mirror. And the one thing that's really aggravating you, you should punch right in the fucking face, and that's you. So right in the face, I want to see you. I want you to see yourself get punched in the face, so maybe if you see it, you'll understand you're being an idiot. You see what I mean? We need to see these things now. We can't just say it. Even if it's real, we know it's there. We've seen it ourselves. Even if we hear it all day long, it's still not real until we actually experience it. I know it sounds crazy. I seen a video the other day. It made me laugh my ass off. I don't even remember what the guy was yelling about. But he keeps saying, Cherokee Indian, bitch. And he's yelling at this guy. Cherokee, motherfucker. And he's just MFing and swearing and yelling. And finally, he pokes this guy in the chest that he's yelling at, this Indian. And this kid finally had enough. And I say kid, but he's an older guy. He's about 40 years old. But he starts punching this guy, the Indian. All of a sudden, this tough, aggressive, putting you in your place Indian had the look of fear in his face. Godlike fear. And he looked almost like he had no clue why this guy was finally punching him in his face. That's insane to me. That's mental. That's listen, you might not know this, but that's a mental disability. I promise you, if there was anything we should fund in the United States, in the USA, what we need more than anything is mental disability repair. Because we have a lot of mental disabilities in the United States of America. I'm not going to get into the fear of hats and all the bullshit because we all know what it is. But we're really insane. We fear the stupidest things. The things we should fear, we don't. Everybody's bitching about this band. You know why we're banned into our houses? Let me enlighten you a little bit. Because the government asked us not to leave the fucking house. They canceled every fucking holiday. They canceled St. Patty's Day. They canceled all these holidays, praying that these people would stay in their home. And they did. They did it in fabulous form, as all Americans do. They invited everybody to their houses, or they onslaughted bars after they asked people not to. We actually made more revenue sales this year than last year in alcohol sales because everybody wanted to party anyways, because we don't listen. And because we don't listen, because Americans sometimes think, they're supposed to be able to do whatever they want to do. It doesn't matter who it hurts. Doesn't matter who it screws over. We don't care sometimes. We're very weird people now. We don't care about our next door neighbors. But anyways, like I said, you got a couple of, everyday hood rat type cats. Honestly, different eras. I'll let you know, Alexander Poe here's got some years missed as far as I'm concerned. I'm I'm an older man, let's say. But definitely lived all of the years rough, that's for sure. So this is the end of the show. This is my little segment for the first time out, my first run. I'm going to ask everybody if you had some fun and you're ready for the next one where we're a little more structured and we're more into the news instead of who we are. Please send something to talkrealradio@outlook.com. Again, thanks for listening. I'm Bitter Bill. We will hit some topics that are raw. We use some raw words, but it's everyday life and it's real talk because we are Talk Real Radio. I appreciate you guys listening today.
We talk
Real
we speak,
radio.
We say what's real.
On Talk Real Radio.
Real talk. Real talk on Talk
Talk
Real Radio.